Okay, here's Dr. Gary Ordog, O-R-D-O-G, and I'm on Stave Lake in Canada, British Columbia, Canada, and this is a privately held lake with forested area all around it, wilderness all around it. There's logging activity, but bears and cougars and wild animals everywhere. I saw probably 10 signs for warning about bears on the way here. I didn't see any cougar signs, but I did see actual physical cougar signs about 50 feet west of me when I was walking over here from my car. There were huge cougar tracks, a whole set of them. So I know there are cougars around here. I was looking for actually bear tracks. I didn't see any, but this is far enough out and north in the wilderness to actually be brown bear area. I'm looking over in the trees here. I don't see any bears or cougars, but several hundred yards west of me is a bald eagle. I can see its right head shining against the blue of the coniferous forest. It's the only one I see, but it stands out remarkably well. I guess maybe to attract the female bald eagles, but I would turn the camera on, but it's probably too faint to see, but I'll keep an eye on him. If he flies over here, I'll get him on the camera. Okay, anyway, today on Stave Lake, I am discussing a read of an article in the Santa Clarita Signal newspaper, and it's dated January 9th, 1998. And I'm doing these topics that are relevant for today, as we are on COVID-19 lockdown. We're having to wear masks. Everyone's trying to get vaccinated. We're into the second year of COVID-19. It's been a pandemic and basically a catastrophe, both health-wise and economically. And the origins are still trying to be discovered. Patient 0 probably, I feel, has been identified as the doctor at the Wuhan virology laboratory who got sick, left the lab, got sick, probably passed it on to others, and then subsequently died of, quote, COVID-19, unquote. So anyway, this article goes back way before COVID-19, back into probably before the first COVID even. And it's called Flu Onslaught Continues. Patients Jam Hospital ER. Okay, and this is on page 1, the front page of the Santa Clarita Signal at Santa Clarita, California. Okay, and it starts. Phlegm. That's what doctors at Henry Mayo Newhall Memorial Hospital have been combating as an onslaught of the flu bug continued to strike, creating what one local doctor called one of the worst flu seasons he's encountered. As of Thursday, over 81 patients were treated in the emergency room at the hospital, comprising less than 1/5 of the 490 patients that moved through the ER, according to Henry Mayo Newhall Memorial Hospital spokesman Susan Mandy. The ER has been oversaturated because of being overloaded with the flu and pneumonia, said, who's this guy? Dr. Gary Ordog, ER physician and director of medical toxicology at the hospital. Wow, sounds like an amazing guy. And, there's a quote, and For the last couple of weeks, we've had very few beds for admission, unquote. 11 patients suffering from the sneezes lulled about the hallways of the hospital early Thursday morning, waiting to be admitted to the hospital. And the day was only half over. Also, as a result of the flu, doctors at the hospital have seen more cases of pneumonia. On Thursday, 6 patients with bedridden pneumonia were diagnosed and treated and admitted with the illness. We are unable to handle the patients, I'm sorry. Quote from me and I misquoted it. We are able to handle the patients, Ordog said reassuringly. As I say now, reassuringly. All right. And we did indeed handle it. That was quite a few years ago, 25 years ago. Okay, they still come in here, but they may have to be creative and make other arrangements. What that's referring to is getting hospital admission beds when they're full, trying to figure out where the patient can be admitted. With but a little more than a week into the new year, Ordog said the recent epidemic of influenza cases at the hospital is one of the worst years I've seen. 2 strains of the flu virus are on the prowl, Ordog said. The most potentially dangerous being that of the Australian variety, which was not mixed with this season's flu shot elixir. So in other words, nobody was vaccinated for this new variant called, at that time, the Australian variety. It arrived after the flu shots were done, Ordog said. Area schools were seemingly hit hard by the malady, causing sick children to stay at home. It's been awfully busy with sick kids here, said Sierra Vista Junior High School Health Assistant Margaret Cardenas. I haven't checked with the attendance office, but just from what I'm experiencing in my office on Thursday, just this morning I've sent half a dozen kids home before brunch, and that was by 10 a.m. That's a high rate of kids going home early, she said. It's really impacting our attendance. Health officials at school tend to be more skeptical when children come in with a case of the imaginary flu. The imaginary flu is very mysterious. In hopes of skipping out of school early. Wow, that's interesting. But recently, Cardenas has been more lenient in allowing the children to go home. You can see it in their faces that they're not feeling well. They're sitting in here coughing with sore throats, so it makes my decision easier to make because they look so sick. 6 students usually breed 6 teachers, causing absenteeism, leaving substitute teachers scrambling to fill the void. Before school was over at winter break, we experienced lots of absenteeism at Hart and Valencia high schools, and our subs were pushed to the limit, said Connie Ford, district receptionist who oversees the substitute teacher effort at William S. Hart Union High School District. Okay, so that was what it was like in January 1998. And again, there were 2 varieties of the flu. I assume one was H1N1 and another one was a variant called the Australian variety. Okay, very similar to these days. There was a flu vaccine at that time, but apparently they did not put the newly found Australian variant into the concoction so that nobody would be immunized for it. So when it started spreading around as an epidemic, then lots of people got sick, even though they may have had the flu shot. Okay, so similar circumstances these days. It seems though better with regard to the flu because everyone's wearing masks, everyone's taking precautions, hand sanitizer, washing your hands, as Dr. Semmelweis taught us to do several hundred years ago, and changed the course of history and saved millions, if not billions of lives. So, but now we have COVID-19, so that is a big difference. This is not the influenza virus. More fatalities probably, more pneumonia, more complications. Okay, anyway, something to consider. So pandemics, epidemics, flu have been going on for many, many years. And I'm just giving an example. This was published in the newspaper with my quotes way back in 1998 when I was working in the emergency department at Henry Mayo Newhall Memorial Hospital in Santa Clarita, California. Okay, thank you. Have a good day and have a good life and stay safe.